So we're going to jump into the Kyle Rittenhouse trial going on because that's kind of been going viral a little bit. So we got a couple clips of, how do you pronounce his name? Grosskreutz? I think that's how you say it. I always screw up the name, so I'm just checking. Grosskreutz? Whatever. Y'all can read it. Y'all let me know. And this was his particular testimony when he was getting questioned by the prosecution and the defendants. I go for the first clip, Ian.
The defendant had
Pause it.
his weapon.
What are you saying, Doc?
Gage.
Gross Gage?
His name is Gage. His first name is Gage.
Oh, late. These guys. All right. Play it.
The rifle still aimed at me. In that moment, I felt that I had to do something to try and prevent myself from being killed or being
The
shot.
gun was already out.
And so I decided that the best course of action would be to close the distance between the defendant and I. You know, from there, I don't know. I mean, if it meant
You don't know what you're going to do with a pistol in your hand?
Anthony had just tried wrestling the gun, detaining the defendants. I don't know.
All right, pause. So basically, this clip, he's trying to say that the process, if y'all haven't seen the video, I should go watch the video. Pretty much in the footage, I'm going to try to leave my opinion out of it first, but in the footage, Kyle Rittenhouse is fleeing a scene where he previously, I think, shot someone. Claim of that is self-defense. And then while he was fleeing, this guy and another guy had a, is it fair to say altercation try to be unbiased? An altercation, something, a confrontation. And in that confrontation, Kyle Rittenhouse shot one guy dead and then shot this guy's bicep off. And he's trying to say in that moment of the confrontation.
Oh, that was his arm?
Yeah, that was his arm.
Ooh, that suit is not filled. Okay.
That's what I was wondering, man. I was like, is this the guy?
I was like, that one sleeve look a little loose.
Yeah, and
Probably been
so he's trying to say in that process, because in the footage, he kind of approached Rittenhouse. Then Rittenhouse put the gun down, and then he's claiming in that moment, Rittenhouse racked the gun, cocked it, mind you, whatever that motion is with the and then when he, I guess, went back at him is then when that's when he picked up the gun and shot him again. He's claiming an aggressive action, I think, is what he's trying to say. That's where that scene was, or not scene, but clip.
Okay.
I'm not sure if
if
y'all remember the footage. I don't know if I should. We couldn't really find it. I don't know if I wanted to show it honestly, because
pretty what his last name looked like, grotesque. I mean, I'm gonna hold off to my opinion.
I got you, but that's a quick backstory on that. All right, go to the second clip.
Wisconsin Revolution, are you not?
No, I'm not.
You're a member of the People's Revolution?
No, I'm not.
Have you spoken at their rallies?
I haven't won.
And during that rally, have you made statements such as "Long live the revolution"?
I have.
And you have no affiliation with them, though?
Affiliation, yes.
Okay, there's some of those people in the crowd.
So basically, from my understanding, what the defendants were trying to point out here, and keep in mind, I'm not a lawyer. This is just me following this whole thing and listening to them, and also Viva Fry. That's who I've been watching also to keep up with this. Apparently, what he's trying to do is associate Grosskreutz to a level of extremism, because I think that's the argument with Kyle Rittenhouse. If you can pinpoint the same thing, then it's like you had nefarious intentions being at this.
Have they pinpointed any extremist tweets or anything that Kyle Rittenhouse may have said? Or
well, I think there's another clip. I don't know if I have that clip. They're claiming that Rittenhouse, not actually it wasn't him, it was someone else, I think, said, fuck you, and that's when they touched their gun to like Rittenhouse.
No, I'm talking about,
he was
does
around,
Rittenhouse have any?
I don't know if they have anything specific of him saying anything. I'm not sure.
Okay, cool.
I'm not sure. But that's pretty much what's going on here. Is they're trying to do the whole
extreme versus extreme.
Kinda, I think so.
That's why I was asking the question.
Or pointing at least pointing out his extremism, or at least
because I can't tell if that's a play on the jury to be like, look, he's an extremist.
Yeah.
Or to be like, well, they were just in conflict as whatever their philosophies are or whatever.
Yeah. All right, next clip.
Filed a lawsuit in federal court. Is that right?
That is correct.
Did you read that?
Yes, I did.
In that document, you again failed to mention that you possessed a firearm. Is that right?
That is correct.
So in these documents that you are filing with courts, you are leaving out the fact that you had possessed a firearm when you were shot, right?
That is correct.
This is your testimony today, and how this case turns out has an impact on your ability to try to collect your.
Going right to his motivations.
That's
That
correct.
he has a financial interest in this testimony.
If Rittenhouse is convicted, your chance of getting $10 million is better, right?
I'm not entirely sure how that plays out.
It
Haven't
doesn't
had
play
any
out well
conversation with
now.
your lawyer.
Yeah, so as you heard from the commentary, trying to point out how he has.
Who would pay him $10 million?
So he's suing the state, I think, for damages from him getting his arm shot off. Because I
While
guess
he
the
was
police
revolting?
didn't do their job or something like that, or blah blah blah. But in his suit, I'm not sure the specifics of it, but he's suing the state for damages, and he wants $10 million from it. And like the
I
lawyer
can
pointed
get
out,
the lawyer's angle then now, because if he's like showing him that he's suing the state while he was hurt during a revolt, so why should we pay him?
and I don't think I have a clip of this pointing out also, but he also didn't have a concealed carry permit at the time, so he was also illegally keeping his gun and stuff. Just a little information I'm trying to throw in there to get the whole picture.
Did Rittenhouse identify that he knew he had a handgun?
Has Rittenhouse do what?
That Rittenhouse identified that he knew this guy had a handgun? when
There's
he-
footage. They show it.
Oh, you can see the handgun on him clearly?
You see the footage, and then also there's another footage that we didn't see of the arm, but the gun's still in his hand.
Oh, he had the gun in his hand.
When the arm was still, yeah, it was in his hand. Because the clip I showed you, no, it's a different one. There's some other guy, but in the footage you can see, and there's a picture of his arm blown off at the time where the gun was in his hand. The footage you can see the gun in his hand, and then you see that when he's over there trying to hold his arm, there's a picture of his arm blown off and the gun in his hand.
Okay, cool. All right. I'm comfortable with what I'm about to say.
And then last clip.
Your gun at him, advanced on him with your gun. Now your hands down, pointed at him. Then he fired, right?
Correct.
Oh shit! That's it.
That's it.
Directed
That's it.
verdict. Directed verdict on all the murder charges. Kyle knows.
All right, you can pretty much
Directed
pause it
verdict
here.
on the murder.
So basically what got him to admit is he was the aggressor. He pointed at Kyle Rittenhouse first, and Kyle Rittenhouse
He
reacted.
pointed his gun at him. He said,
He just admitted that he pointed at Kyle Rittenhouse's gun
can you
first.
replay that part? And then also, what does that have to do with the people the other people that were shot?
Because if he proves that this was defense, and the other ones are probably likely defense also.
But you said he was fleeing the scene already after shooting somebody.
And that's when we're trying to get this footage going. The original clip that just recently came out, that was them showing FBI drone footage of the first scene, showing how it was also self-defense. I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure. We didn't watch that
gun at him.
clarification. We didn't watch that clip, so that might be. I think, might not. Go check out the footage.
Advanced on him with your gun. Now your hands down, pointed at him. Then he fired, right?
With your gun
Correct.
pointed down?
Oh shit!
Not with your gun
That's
pointed
it.
down, but with your gun
Direct
pointed
verdict.
at him.
Directed
Okay.
verdict on
So
all
he's
the murder
trying to
charges.
point out how he was the aggressor. He had his gun pointed at Kyle Rittenhouse first, and Kyle Rittenhouse responded, and
Got
from
you.
the response, defended himself.
Okay, y'all ready?
And he just admitted, correct. That's why they reacted as it's done. Like that's the whole point of this lawsuit right now. Is yeah. So go for it.
I think Kyle Rittenhouse should die in jail.
Well, first, second, before we get into that, if you've seen the footage, correct, Doc? You've seen the
Correct.
footage. Do you think
Yeah,
it was?
he,
Let's
like-
because this whole thing is about self-defense. Do you think Kyle Rittenhouse is self-defense?
No.
You don't think it was self-defense?
I do not support the law being used this way. I sincerely don't. And this is the biggest problem I have
What do
with
you
all
mean?
of
I'm
this shit.
confused.
We're all arguing semantics. The boy drove down there. Those people drove down there. They should all be put in jail. This guy that had his arm blown off should be put in jail. Kyle Rittenhouse and his mom should be put in jail for driving. You drove down to somewhere to defend yourself? Forget the whole this is why I hate when the
Whether,
laws
whether
use
you whether you believe it or not,
I
his
don't
defense is he went
care.
down to
I don't
be
care,
medical.
and that's my problem with the law. We're all arguing semantics when it comes to this now because it's all stupid because we're not allowed to address what the fucking real issue is. Why did you shouldn't have drove down there? As soon as you drove down there, you decided you was guilty. As soon as they drove down there, they decided they was guilty. There's no self-defense when you're two stupid people. I don't care about none of that. All of this stuff is how people get away with shit. We're all sitting here, well, technically, oh, the gun was this, and I get it. This was not the reason these laws were made. They were supposed to be straight, just honest, just whatever it is whatever it is. Now, because we've advanced and all this shit, we can just hide behind the semantics and the, oh, I know my stand my ground law. So if I can make sure that this fits this stand my ground law, or whatever fucking law it is that I want to use, then okay, I'm technically safe. But my intentions, those don't get judged. And that's my problem with this bullshit. His intentions were wrong. Both sides. Fuck all of these people. His intentions was wrong. He went down there hoping he would kill somebody. Somebody convinced me that's not right. So fuck old semantics, he was right. It was self-defense. He was hoping he would be in self-defense. So what is the punishment for making sure all of those things fit for you?
I don't know if I would agree to that.
He went there with a gun to do what at 17?
That whole point is self-defense.
Why? He could have been defended in his house. He could have been safe in his home.
So your issue is that he went period at 17. I can agree with that.
The whole argument is out the window once you're talking about driving down there with a gun. The whole point is out the window for this dumbass nigga too. As soon as he drove down there with his pistol, as soon as you ran, he should have killed you. Fuck, shot your arm off. I wish he killed him because that's dumb. It's dumb. You don't run at nobody with no gun, especially if you're not ready to shoot it. You're not ready to use it. You run at him with a gun and you expect him not to shoot you. Of course he shot you. But before all of that, a whole bunch of stupid people decided to go do stupid things. And we're not talking about that because the way our law system is set up is, oh, let's just talk about this little small part of this big thing, and if he's free on that, that's why I'm confused. We're sitting here like, oh, well then he's free on he killed people regardless of whatever it was. He drove down there and he killed people. He didn't have to drive down there. He wasn't forced to drive down there. It wasn't an obligation to drive down there. It wasn't nobody called him. There was no call to arms. He doesn't have a business down there. He chose to go down there. There are other people who have businesses down there. There are other people who have families that live in those areas. They didn't go. Kyle Rittenhouse decided to go. After that, don't care about anything else. Die in jail. That's my only opinion. Die in jail.
So I guess your whole thing is there should be some consequence for killing a man, even if it was in self-defense.
My argument is
because
if you're talking about whether he's guilty of killing a person,
because that's the whole argument right there.
Fuck this guy that he's talking about. When he went down there with a loaded firearm, did he go down there with the loaded firearm to defend himself? Because if his defense of himself was his priority, he would have stayed his ass at home. He chose to leave the house, making his defense of himself no longer a priority.
He put himself as potential danger.
And so now you want to prioritize it and use it as an excuse. You weren't walking up the street and you didn't get caught in a mob and they just ran up on you on accident. That's not what happened, my brother. So as far as I'm concerned, that has to do with him being guilty. I believe everybody can be guilty. We don't have it set up for that to be a thing, but I believe everybody is guilty. I believe he doesn't get his $10 million. Fuck him. He shouldn't get a dime. What were they even protesting about?
I think police at the time.
Police brutality.
Because of, yeah.
Can you imagine?
Well, this is kind of just like an aftermath of that time where it was political ideologies or even philosophical ideologies like competing with one another. Like he went to go represent whatever he believed, and just like the guy he even admitted he was a part of a revolutionary group or affiliated with them. He went to go represent that group, and they conflicted. And then now when everything's died down, like the ripples are still happening, and people need to resolve this stuff, especially if that guy is the one who filed the lawsuit.
Boom. Asshole. He deserves to die. But like he did not like when you run somebody, you run at somebody with a gun.
I understand that the intentions make it.
And Kyle Rittenhouse is just as extreme as the other guy. Let me explain why. Could a 17-year-old drive down there with a gun without you thinking that some type of propaganda is in his head? You don't like.
Especially
was
with
his call to arms just?
firearm. With like
You get what I'm saying? There had to be some
as
form
large a
of
weapon as he had. I do think that they're both just like on opposite ends of the same fence.
Boom. I agree with that.
I honestly also agree that Kyle should have probably killed the other guy. I like he had a miracle moment in him where he's just like, I think they were both scared, and he was just like, I'm not gonna shoot this guy in the chest because I mean normally like if you're trained.
No, he probably was definitely trying to shoot him in the chest. The fact the guy got shot in the arm was lucky.
Kyle's
Okay,
probably
well,
I got
I
two
don't know.
bodies already, my boy.
I think he might have. I don't know because I guess he did kill 2 people just before that. And this kid thought that like the country was in a revolution and he wanted to stop it.
Thought he was gonna be a hero.
Man, I try my best not to argue intentions. I try to argue exactly what happened.
You can't do that. You can argue intentions. You can't argue intentions sometimes. I get you.
Because I understand what you're saying, but you're trying to do root of it.
No, his actions literally spoke into what, dude. What people have to understand when it comes to these riots, this pandemic, and all this
so
shit,
if
we
he was
all
never
participated.
confronted by the people he shot, and he just is a typical, not typical, but safe night, would you still say the same thing?
If he what?
If he went to same night, if he went and didn't shoot anybody that night, would you still say the same thing?
That what? He went there with what?
The intentions you said.
If he didn't shoot anybody, then his intentions weren't to shoot anybody. If he left his gun at home, then his intentions were to shoot anybody.
But then the arc.
So what's his intentions to do with the gun then?
So he should. So I'm confused.
He went there with the gun to do what? If it wasn't to shoot somebody.
The arc to defend yourself if you put in a situation. So you think he went there with the purposeful intentions of shooting somebody?
No,
I
think he went there with the purpose intentions of putting himself in a position where you'd have to defend himself.
I don't.
And that's there's no way. There's literally no way. There's the same way those rioters went there looking for somebody like him. Is the same way he went there. They needed each other. They literally need each other. This is the type of person that needs those extreme people to make his beliefs feel better, and this is the type of person that those extreme people need to make their beliefs feel better. But he went down there with his gun and at 17 to do what? You think he was sound thinking? You think he was making logical decisions? You think he was going down there with, I'm just gonna defend the building? And if you're talking about the whole thing was about protesting police and all that stuff. Isn't that a lack of faith in police on his part? So why don't you believe the police can handle their actual job and will get to whatever they need to get to and prioritize what they need to prioritize? But you took it upon yourself. When he chose to go down there, his intentions were no longer anything to debate. He went there looking for confrontation.
So I guess this is a personal question to reveal something in myself, because I guess technically speaking, political leaning, I lean on his side, but I don't lean as far as I would take action. Like I didn't feel the need to go protest against what was going on. I didn't feel the need to go to the January 6th thing, and that was definitely an option. Like I just didn't feel the need to go, and I don't know if that's because part of me didn't feel the need to go, or maybe it's because I didn't feel the need to go.
That's kind of like a difference between, I guess, like a lot of people probably felt the same way where they were.
But some people
on
feel
one
like.
side of it.
Well, real quick, let me finish this whole thought, and then I'll let you go. But people who have this side of the political leaning thought feel the need to, like, I don't know if it's aggressively or be more louder or with their opinions, because I'll speak for myself. I don't like the direction where the country's going. I think it's going in a very bad direction. Some of us feel like we're not loud enough, doing enough, being actionable like the other side is like putting their foot down, make themselves be heard, all that stuff. I don't know. What happened is bad. Is it wrong or right that he went there to, I guess, counter protest? I don't know his intentions. To assume negative intentions, I have to take it at face value that he went there to provide potentially, what he said, medical support for any casualties going on. And then you could say beforehand when he was helping put out the fire.
Weapon? What type of weapon?
He had I don't know specifically what type of weapon.
Was it AR?
But it was an AR.
Okay.
I don't know the specific type though, but we put out some type of fire that's going on at a gas station. Like he went. I get what you're trying to say, but I feel like that's.
I'm not trying to say anything. He said it. Like, that's not even something I'm even willing to debate.
Said
I don't
what?
think. When he went down there, dude, we're not dumb. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. What he's doing and what he's saying and what this guy there's no difference to me between the two of them. So let me get that straight. What they're saying isn't fair to me and you, to anybody, because we all were involved. We all were involved with the pandemic. We all were involved with the protests. We all felt some type of way, whatever was going on. We all had an opinion on it, and we all felt what we felt about whatever we did, and we all chose to do what we chose to do. Now, if you didn't go downtown during the protest, I didn't go downtown during the protest, it's probably because we thought what? Either I'm not that interested in what's going on, honestly speaking, I don't believe that much in what's going on, or I don't want confrontation. I don't want myself to be put in a position to where I may be harmed or I have to harm somebody. These are the logical thoughts that go across your mind. And it's not even just your mind. Now imagine you're a parent and your kid goes down there. Now you're telling me for his mom to drive him there, that doesn't speak to what they're probably allowing his mental state to be? That's why I'm saying the facts are all there. We can say what we want. When he got in that car, he knew that I will have the benefit of the law on my side if I present myself in a defensive position. These are people that are being aggressive. These are people that are rioting. These are people that are looting. These are people that are hitting people with skateboards or whatever the fuck they're doing. Craziness. For you to choose to go in there, even a hero in any movie. If there's a large wave of evil or anything coming, and he chooses to stay and what?
So I guess the issue here, and I can actually agree this probably is the issue, is both sides, or there are two sides trying to claim Rittenhouse as a hero and
none of
Gross
them are heroes.
or say his name as a hero or something along those lines. And I agree. I think that's a little.
They're both.
Yeah, sorry.
That's kind of what I was thinking. They both went down as soldiers, and they conflicted. Like, I mean, dude, come on! You don't show up somewhere with an AR not expecting to, and then be upset when you have to use it.
Be mentally ready to use it, like John pointed out. The other guy, he had a pistol, he didn't even shoot it in the situation where it needed.
They both went as soldiers for whatever their causes were, and they conflicted, and now they're just kind of dealing with the aftermath, I think, of it. But yeah, to some sense, I guess that is true. That it needs a level of radicalism to be like, all right, cool, like now it's happening. I don't know if like they felt like they needed to defend their neighborhood and stuff like that.
It wasn't even his neighborhood. He drove really far.
It was like 20 minutes from our Rittenhouse.
Yeah,
it was like 20 minutes. Allegedly, he worked in the area or around, but the other guy,
he was waiting
far
on,
there.
Dude,
I mean, if we're trying to argue semantics, like you said,
it was a dream scenario for both sides, and then they realized
for both sides.
For both sides.
I think I can see what you're saying because they're both politically trying to use this. I can see that.
Yeah. Like, oh, there's a guy with an AR running around. And then on him,
revolution has started, and the other guy's going crazy too. And
like this is he's sitting there, on the car ride down there. You think he was nervous or excited? I think it was a mixture of both.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think he was scared. I don't think he was like, these are all the things that go into it. And you have to remember, you've ever been in a high intensity moment and a random thought crept in? It happens. We compartmentalize. I've been in real intense moments, right, where things are probably going bad and a joke will creep in. Just because it still happens. Our minds still work that way. There were moments on that car ride, no matter what was going on, no matter how intense the emotion was, where it's, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to, like, there's those small little pockets of, like, taking in what the actual reality of what you're doing is. And he's not innocent, dude. He's not an innocent guy. Like, that's just, if he should be convicted in this case or with whatever, that's for the lawyers. Y'all can use whatever lingo y'all want to. And to be honest with you, all that lingo and all this, we ran out of slaps and started using lingo. That's the problem with all this shit, to be honest with you. Now everybody gets to use fancy words to dodge shit. Like, that's not even reasonable. That's not a reasonable conversation that we're even having. It's not real. It's fake. That's not an innocent boy. That's not an innocent man. Like, for us to even sit there and have to defend or talk about, like, whew, boy, I hate people like this. I hate.
Well, I wonder
people
what
like this.
the defense is going to say, because I feel like the defense would probably say something similar, like, "Why were you there with an AR?"
The defense
And
already
then-
rest their case.
Well,
No, I mean the prosecutors.
They did. I would argue technically they did rest their case already. But to answer Doc's question, that's why I was telling you, like, if I'm sure they did, and he said his defense was I was going there to supply medical aid, which was gross crits. I see his name. I'll just call him Gross. Screw it. That's what Gross's similar excuse was. Also, I went there to provide medical aid. Blah blah blah. That's why they try to ask him, like, are you affiliated with that? What was it called?
Revolutionary
People's
Army.
Revolution affiliate. Yeah, People's Revolution or whatever. And trying to show that he didn't go there for purely pure intentions. He had ulterior motives. He was probably participating, which I'm sure there's footage of him doing, blah, blah, blah. And with Kyle Rittenhouse, like, his intentions, he said, were medical stuff to provide medical aid and blah, blah, blah. And there's footage of him actually, like, putting out a fire at a gas station, which helps his defense, whereas the other one doesn't. There's no footage to help his defense. It's just claims. And there's actually recorded his own words where he's actually, like, saying, like, yes, I said some things there. Viva la Revolution, or whatever he said.
We're making psychopaths. Y'all have to see this. Both these people are crazy. Both of these people are crazy. Oh my gosh. The more information you know, I'm learning, the more you just, obviously it sounds dumb saying it out loud, just get away with. Let me take a picture of me patching up this wall right quick. God damn it. Let me goddamn push this fiery trash can with this extinguisher. Hey, Mom, get this on Instagram. So I could blaze these bullets later and look like a fucking hero. Same with the other dickhead. Let me pose in front of a picture like I'm goddamn some type of anarchist or some type of free world hero. Goddamn it. But when it came time to pull that trigger, when it came time for you to really, he already caught a body. Why didn't you shoot? Why didn't you shoot? He already killed somebody. Why didn't you shoot? Because you couldn't. Because you couldn't. Because you're pussy. All right, can we get off this shit? Oh, my God.
Well, there's where I want to, I guess, ask one more question to, I guess, reveal more on me, I guess, or to self-reflect here then, is I'm obviously, to admit, give more, I don't know if it's forgiveness, leeway, or understanding to Rittenhouse than I do Groskowitz. And part of it is because even though I do lean probably similar in the political leaning than Rittenhouse does, I don't know. I don't see the critique as much as you have against him. I really don't understand it as much.
I'm gonna call him Gage because it's just easier for me. His first name is Gage. Gage, in my opinion,
like, I really don't buy the extreme arguments.
No,
I can see why you'd make it, but honestly, I guess that's what it is to simplify. I don't really buy the extreme arguments.
Completely extreme. The reason I say we're making psychopaths is because it's so clear what to do now. That never again will we have. I don't want to say never again, but there are moments in time where there's so much chaos that you may get away with a little mischief. All you have to do is make it fit. And both of these gentlemen knew their mischief could fit within the chaos of what was going on. They could get away with stuff. If I say I'm going for medical help, they both got the same. They both was going there to do the same thing. And end up shooting. Huh? Shouldn't they have been on, if their sole purpose was medical relief, shouldn't they have been doing the same thing? What is the argument about? If you're going there to medical relief, fuck the building. You're supposed to be relieving people medically, right? You're supposed to be helping people, giving people aspirin and bring asthma pumps and all that bullshit, right? So why didn't y'all have that? You had a gun in your hand with your hand halfway blown off, and you had the AR. Where's the medical relief? So if we're saying,
I think there is some footage of him actually providing medical relief to someone.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's some footage of the other guys.
I'm just trying to say how they're.
Some,
I don't
yeah,
know.
sounds like psychopath to me.
I get what you're saying.
Sounds like a planned job to me. I'm just saying, it just seems too good. So this innocent 17-year-old kid who went there to provide medical relief to all of those, not the rioters or the looters, to who? The business owners? Medical relief to who?
Protect their business.
No, medical relief.
The fire, but the medical relief, I guess, to help people, anyone injured throughout the whole
Injured and all that stuff, right?
It was a riot.
Yeah, it just so happens that, he unfortunately was doing the right thing, and then these these horrible people came upon him, and he had to defend himself and kill two.
The biggest one I have a hard arguing is that you brought up is the mother knowingly driving her 17-year-old son to a riot so he could provide aid, help, or whatever. I'm not a parent, but I can imagine being a parent. I would think that would be something you definitely would not want to do, or at least let your child be a part of at that age.
Now, do you think? Another question. Do you think
If
in
that
car
really
ride,
happened though, is that like for sure something that they've proven?
Oh, that she drove him there?
Yeah.
Yo, they've
'Cause
already
that makes
said that.
sense. Like, dude, like being in the car, in the truck, or like whatever with your kid while he's like, loading up his AR and being like, "All right, man, go soldier on." Like,
Boom. There you go,
they-
Doc. Do you think she said to him, now if anybody approaches you, what do you think she said? Like, come on. It's just plain and simple. You blow a fucking cap in their head. That's exactly what you're going to do. If anybody even approaches, if anybody reaches for something, if you feel like your life is in danger, and she's using those verbs, those words that we always hear in the court all the time.
So
my life is in danger.
So this is your problem then. Your problem is they both to what you're trying to say. They both had nefarious motives, and they're utilizing the law to justify their nefarious motives.
That's my point. That's my only point, and that's why I hate.
Yeah, I kind of get the apathy for the entire situation, because it's like you both showed up as soldiers for your causes, and you conflicted. Like, did you not expect that this wasn't a possibility? And so,
but they're both trying to claim
they were medics.
They were good, but they were doing something good.
They're medics.
I guess you could say, to simplify it. Sorry, Doc, go on.
Well, that's the thing though. Like they were walking into like a conflict zone. You know what I mean? And so I can understand being apathetic to the situation of them being like, "All right, dude, like wait, what?"
No,
we're listening.
I said the wrong word.
Like, you were showing up to do your part. You were showing up to do your part, and it just played out that way. And so for them to like walk away with murder, essentially, I don't know if that's what they're arguing here. I don't know if this is specifically on the lawsuit. Then, I mean, I guess at this point the lawsuit might affirmate either side of the political spectrum, and that's really the thing that people are looking at. But I do kind of also understand that, like, overarching, like, it's just like, dude, you guys both fought when you didn't really need to, and so now you have to deal with the consequences of your actions.
But I guess the whole argument, that's why this whole lawsuit's going on, is because Groschwitz initiated the conflict. It's not that Rittenhouse, like, even though I can understand, I still don't know if I agree with it, the nefarious intent or motive here, but Rittenhouse wasn't the provocateur or the aggressor here. That's why, I guess, maybe that's another reason why I have trouble accepting this or understanding it, is even though Groschwitz was still the one who was the aggressor, that was the provocateur, and so were the other people.
It's kind of like
if I throw myself in a lion's den and the lion attacks me, I'm sure they're the aggressor still. But I put myself in a lion's den. What frame of mind did I used to think to walk into that den? Was I not prepared for what may happen?
I just think it's weird that he went alone.
Mom dropped him off, ain't
He
it?
could have been meeting
Yeah,
up with
like
some friends or
alone,
somebody. Could have been meeting up with somebody.
That's weird.
They try to get him. They try to say he was affiliated with the Proud Boys, but I don't think he is.
I don't think so. I just think that
so
like,
either.
he's probably a part of like an extreme family. I think they both are part of an extreme family, and they extremed out together.
I really, actually, you know what? I still think Kyle Rittenhouse should rot in jail, but I pity him because his parents are to blame. His parents are to blame because he has to be thinking, no matter what, right or wrong, what my parents have taught me has landed me here. Regardless of whatever it is, when your mom decides to drive you down there,
I can kind of
based on the beliefs, he has to be considering, like, it's just tough. It's just tough.
He's questioning life, and there's a lot of life questions.
Now I've taken a life,
but
I've taken multiple lives, and I didn't have to even go. I know there's no way he doesn't regret going. What was the purpose? Did you accomplish anything? You put out a dumpster fire. You didn't accomplish anything.
You could argue that he probably saved some lives.
Did he? Only people got shot. he did all the shooting.
Damn. All right, the last say to Doc. Let's move on.
Ooh.
Yeah, I guess like I'm just apathetic to the situation where it's just like you all have to deal with your futures and whatever the fuck happened here. Like that guy, Gross, whatever, has to realize that there are real consequences to starting a revolution.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy has, Kyle Rittenhouse also has to accept the same mentality, but vice versa. There are real consequences to fighting for whatever is like already there, the status quo.
The sad part is there's no real war going on.
I think they both thought though in the moment that like it was gonna like
Some people say there is.
gonna continue that way.
Like,
Well, I heard a political theory that the new civil war or like the current civil war is going to be fought in small pockets across the country. Like it's not going to be like, all right, left side and south side or north side, south side are completely divided. It's going to be more so like conflicts inner city and stuff like that. Like there's going to be like a still government and states and all that stuff like that, but within the people living in those areas, there will just be multiple factions, and those factions will be conflicting. It's going to be like fucking
Life?
like Akira. You guys remember Akira, the anime?
Mm-hmm.
When they're like living in like their city and stuff like that, but there's different religious factions and different like political factions, and they're just like starting conflict in the cities every here and there. I could see a future turning to that, especially if we continue with the nation going into like a neo-feudalism where all the politicians are basically kissing up to whoever comes into the presidency and just trying to hold that political party or that agenda going.
As long as possible.
Don't like that one bit.
Okay, so final question then.
I was complaining about that earlier.
Not on this case. Is this regardless of the case? Forget the case. Is this in the situation alone and whatever? Is this an innocent man to you? Is this an innocent boy to you? If you were to judge, just
yeah,
in general.
I would. I guess that's why I had a contention with this because I actually do see him as an innocent boy. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That's wild to me.
But when you said that, that's why I was questioning so hard because I just don't see that. Because I guess the root is I see an innocent boy, but see what you said like does make sense, and I guess that's what. But then I had an issue with it because you're arguing. Because you're arguing intentions, and I guess to admit I do question Grotkrit's intentions because his are more.
Obviously, it's
blatant, I guess.
Yeah, he's an asshole. Like he's an obvious asshole. He just wants the money now. He's trying to.
And to give, I guess, some credence to the whole nefarious thing is, if anything, he's like a sprout. So that's why I guess if.
Okay, I don't think he's evil. If that's the point, I don't think he's like. I don't think he realized what shooting somebody. I don't think he connected it to actually killing people. I don't think he connected any of the things together. I just think it's kind of glorified, and so he wanted to be a hero.
Glorified?
He wanted to be a hero for his country. He wanted to stand up for what was right.
I can believe specifically hero makes sense just because of all the hero things going on recently with Marvel and DC and all that stuff. So the whole hero mentality, I can see that.
It seemed like at that point in time there was an absence of organization or of just that hope, that belief, regardless that the police can handle whatever, regardless of which side. It seemed like he didn't believe that they were capable because there's no other reason to come help. So I can't say he didn't go down there like I'm gonna go kill somebody as a full thought. But all of his actions,
so I guess
he knew where he was going. Like,
so do you not then blame to a degree, and maybe I do.
His
that's
parents.
why. Well, I do understand the parents' argument. I actually really do understand that one because I just can't imagine like if I actually 17 and I want to do what he did, would my dad let me go? Would he not have something to say about that? I think he would. I really think he would. My mom definitely wouldn't. Like
not going for none of that.
But would my dad? I don't even we do share political beliefs. I was talking about it all the time. Would he still let me go at 17 during the riot?
No.
I can't say he would. I don't.
Do you know how your dad would be scared? How you would look leaving the house with an AR?
But I agree with that. What I'm trying to get to is, do you then not blame? the climate at the time with the whole defund the police going on.
Yeah, he didn't believe.
And because he didn't have faith, like you said, and I agree with that, in the to a degree, I believe with that, but faith in the police to handle the situation that he felt like he needed at 17 years old, and not even police, like
No, I agree with
ambulances and all the emergency people, like you didn't have faith in them technically.
I agree with you.
Do you not give blame for that then, the portrayal?
Yes, but I don't blame them for his actions. That's you know me.
Okay, I can see.
Man.
Exactly.
Hold on, say that, Doc. I hear you.
Why would he do it by himself? Like,
No,
that's to me the
I-
biggest thing. That's the weird.
His mom
Like,
dropped him off and left him.
Yeah, like his mom fucking deployed him. Like he's like a super soldier. And he's gonna go in and just fucking go in
Damn.
and, like take care of everything. Like, dude, what? Like,
Dropped him in living
No, like-
quarters.
like maybe father and son, I would understand that, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like the kid
would
was
cut a
following his
couple
dad
times.
and stuff like that, and they were doing stuff. But like, why would you just deploy him out there alone to handle some shit like that?
Like
Like,
fucking Duke Nukem.
yeah, it's just weird, man.
Yeah, no, but I agree with you. But this is the thing. I can't associate blame when people do stuff, regardless of why they did it. Their actions are their own. They cannot blame anybody. If you do something,
So the
it's your
environment
own.
can't be.
So, in the environment, yes, you know what I'm saying. I agree. Those things attributed to his mind, him thinking the way he did,
Justifying
him
his
justifying his
choices
actions.
or
But his actions, all the accountability of his actions are still on him. So regardless of what happened, like the defund the police, he didn't believe. He chose to leave. Whereas he could have been patient. He could have waited. He could have done more research. He could have seen that this shit's not gonna work.
trusting his elders.
Trusting his, you know what I'm saying? But that goes to his parents. What do you think his parents are saying in the household?
That's why the parent one really didn't make it. Help me
His
understand
mom had to
more.
probably
I
be
just
like,
still
the world's on fire, it's all gonna
Mhm.
end, and he was just like, I need to go. I need to, like, this is the moment. It's all happening. And
Mom
they-
got him in the whip and drove him. Oh
And they
my
went.
God. How does that mom feel? Is she still able to defend her taking him there?
I'm wondering if him being dead, would she still feel good about her decision? That's probably really fucked
That-
up to say,
yeah.
but that's like
What
That's
if he
something to
did take
think
a
about.
bullet? You're absolutely right.
Well, you have no
absolutely
idea
right.
how fanatical they are. Like, maybe she would just be like, well, he died for
A
the good of
martyr.
the country. Yeah, she would have martyred her son and stuff like that. You have no
I-
idea.
all right. We've been talking about this for 42 minutes. That was actually
knew this
for
was
me
gonna
at least a
happen.
productive conversation. I still do view him in a kind of an innocent light, but I guess now a little more understanding, I guess, or perspective. There we go, a different perspective of it.
He's definitely like on the side of
He's 17.
law. Like he's like
He's on the side of the law. I get what
Which
you're saying.
is my fucking problem. Ugh.
I'm thinking of it as I'm being a nerd right now. I'm thinking of it in terms of fucking Dungeons and Dragons, where I'm like, he's lawful neutral right now. Like, I don't like John said, like he's probably not evil. He's definitely using the law to his advantage, but I don't think he's like lawful good either. Because I feel like if he'd have been lawful good, he would have shown up without a weapon and just been like, I'm just here to.
Straight meta kicks and peanut butter
Yeah.
sandwiches.
Man, I don't know if that's lawful good, because the reason why I say that is because in America, you're actually lawful to have a gun and carry it. So he's technically like, so just because he had a gun, that makes it lawful bad.
And honestly, also, I don't
You're
know.
trying to use your terms, Doc.
Also, I don't know if this is all states, but you're not allowed to just hand
Well,
shit
no,
food out either.
that's why lawful neutral exists, because it's the middle ground between it. Like lawful evil would be like, haha, I
You
shot
did say he
him,
was
but-
lawful neutral. You did say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like he's on the cusp, and depending on his intention, that's when it would come in. I think for right now, and then this is a key issue that like you have to think about, like what they're zoning in onto, because if you zone in too much into the scope, then you see everything, you don't see what's around it, which would be John's point, the intention. Whereas I think, Gene, you're focusing on what this particular hearing is about, which is the lawsuit itself. But I think to encompass all of it, yeah, like he's definitely innocent on these aspects, but he's definitely got to think about what the fuck he did for the rest of his life.
He had an itch. Now, do you think his?
See, I don't know. That's why, like, where y'all come from to get to that conclusion is I just don't. I don't see that.
Do you know? Because the other side had an itch. Anybody who chose to go to the city
Have
had
some
an
kind
itch.
of itch.
Okay, let me put it like this. Just put it like this. You don't have to answer it on the podcast. How do you think his conversation with God about this incident is gonna go? Honestly speaking, when there's somebody who is all knowing, all encompassing, how that conversation goes for both of those assholes. And then you found out,
And I honestly, I don't know. I don't know how my conversation would go if I was in his situation.
100%. But you just
But
got.
I don't know. But I don't know how. If his intentions were pure, if they were, I'm on the side that they were. But you're right. That conversation, like that's.
You think God's just gonna be like, "Yo, free will's a bitch, huh? Free will sucks sometimes, right?"
All right. We're talking about this too much.
You should have shot.
You made it to the end. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching Fake Deep Thinking. If you like the show, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and to share. We really appreciate everything and appreciate you. So take it easy. Peace.
Peace.
Have a good day.